Okay, tonight I'm going to be fixing salmon croquettes. I'm going to be doing it a couple different ways tonight to see what I like best because it's been a while since I've fixed them. I've taken a can of salmon straight from the can. This is cooked salmon. They've got it upside down. I don't know why they put the label on backwards like that, but anyhow, it doesn't matter. The salmon costs, you can get it between $3 and $4. The cans that I bought today were like $3.25 for a can. So what you want to do is remove some of the salmon skin and break it up like that. And then I'm going to break it up just with my hand so that we don't have any huge chunks. And I poured off the excess juice into a separate bowl because what we're going to do with the juice is make a leavening, I'm going to call it, with a little bit of baking powder, and that will give us what we need to make the salmon croquettes expand. I'm going to see if I can get any excess juice out of the stuff that I just peeled off. Alright, that should do it. And like I said, this recipe can be done a couple different ways. What I've always done in the past was with flour. So I'm going to take half of this and put it in a separate bowl. And I'm going to use cracker crumbs, and the other half I'm going to use flour like I used to use all the time. So my recipe calls for, and I've got the deep fryer already heated. Let's see. Oh, I need an egg. So I'm going to beat this egg. And I'm going to put about half into each bowl. That's a little harder to do with an egg, but we're going to do it that way and see what happens. And then in one of them, I'm going to put cracker crumbs. And the recipe calls for half a cup, but since I'm splitting this two different ways, this is a 1/4 cup. And what I'm going to do tonight is try it both two different ways with cracker crumbs and with flour, and also in how it's cooked, 3 different ways. I'm going to try it in a deep fryer. I'm going to try it in a skillet in little patties, and then I'm also going to try it in an air fryer and see what happens with that. I've never tried that before, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. Plus, I'm also going to bake, actually 4 ways. I'm going to bake a little bit of it in a little mini oven that I've got. All right, so let's see. Okay, so we're going to add a teaspoon, and I mean a teaspoon like a spoon that you would stir a drink. We want a nice heaping teaspoon of baking powder. And this has to be done last because this is what's going to froth and make everything expand as it cooks, which makes it light and fluffy. And you can see it's already kind of building up here. All right, so I'm going to measure that because I don't know how much that is. And I want to get an equal amount into each bowl. Right at about a cup. So we're going to go with a little there. And I'll put the rest of this in here. You know, at first, with just the flour or the cracker crumbs in it, it's going to look a little dry. That's all right, because this extra juice will make it nice and fluffy. All right. So what I'm going to do is I have my air fryer with a little bit of oil inside, and like a tablespoon. That should be enough. So what I'm going to do is put 1 spoonful of just that with the flour, and 1 teaspoon with the crackers. And I'm going to try baking that or cooking that at about 5 minutes at about, I'm going to say 350. I'll do the same thing over here. Let's see, I'm going to do this at 350. And I'm going to put a spoonful of each to bake it. We're going to see what happens, because I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see. I've also got a skillet here that I'm going to fix some on a skillet with just about a tablespoon or so of oil in the bottom. And again, I'm going to make little patties out of this and just make just small ones, kind of flatten them out. I'll do that at that. I'm going to make 2 of each on this one. That one a little bit more. All right, let me wash my hands real quick. And the rest I'm going to put in the deep fryer, and those go pretty fast. So I don't want to take too long on those. They should spin, but I'm going to do just the flour one right now. And as you can see, it's starting to sizzle real fast, and in a moment it will probably start to rise up to the surface. I'm just going to fix what I have here. And like I said, I'm not making very big ones because I want them to cook through and through. And if they don't start to spin, I can use a fork or something to do that. I'll give that just a minute or so. got a side dish of vermicelli and rice with a little bit of spice in it, a little bit of flavoring. That's real simple. Just comes in a box. You just pour a little bit in. I didn't use a full box. I just used about a third of a cup. And these will all cook reasonably fast. Okay, get back over here again. Since this has raw egg in it, you want to make sure it's completely done. You don't want to take it out of the pan, whatever method you're cooking, before it's done. So that's something to be aware of. You never want to have something that's got raw egg in it. Back decades and decades ago, people might swallow raw egg just as it is, and they were fine and safe, but that's not safe anymore. So that's the air fryer. I'm going to see how that looks because I've never done that before. I'm going to turn that and then I'm going to give it just another couple minutes, maybe 2 minutes. And these are browning nicely. They should have a nice little crisp outer layer. Done, so I'm going to shut that off. See how it's doing. I'm going to give that another minute or so. I think this is probably done. Yeah, that's the way I like it to look. Crispy on the outside. I'm going to take a knife. Let's see how that feels. Yeah, I think that's done. Alright, so I'm going to dump those. Oops. It's hot. Set that in there. Now I'm going to put the rest of this that was done with the flour and do those. You have to be careful when you do this because you definitely don't want to touch the hot oil. But we'll see how this turns out in the different flavorings that I use and in the different methods of cooking. Alright, so that should be done. Yeah, those look good. Set those over here. Let's see if I've got a little lid for that. Alright, so I'm going to just cover those. And go ahead and get these out of the skillet. These are the ones with the flour, and these are the ones with the cracker crumbs. And that was the one with the flour, and that was the one with the cracker crumbs. So I better use a larger lid. Like that. Oh, let's see. Gotta put that spoon. Alright, so that's starting to brown nicely. I'll give that just another minute or so. Give that just another minute. So that made 6 of one of them, probably 6 of the other, 8, 10, so about a dozen. A can will make about a dozen of the croquettes. Cover that up just a little. Just a little. Alright. So I'm going to set that back there to cool. And again, that made 6 of those. Put the lid on there to keep it from popping. Alright, let's see. Take that out. Ouch. Set that there. Set that there. Let that cool as well. Alrighty. So I've got several different versions here. I'll write in the blog how they turned out, how they tasted, and I'll let you at least know that there's a variety of different ways of fixing this, and you can do side dishes of vegetables or rice or macaroni and cheese or whatever your family likes. So I hope that gives you an idea of what you can do with salmon croquettes.